Y'all know what it is already, right? It's your boy Quest, and this is your marriage moment. Let's go. What up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Marriage Moments. It's your boy Quest. Yeah, man, big shouts out as always to, like, for real, people of the Marriage Mastermind community. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to everybody who watches us on The Good, The Bad, and The Sexy on Wednesday nights. And last night we had a major conversation. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the things that a lot of couples are struggling right now. And if I had to name this video this week, I would say you are not, or call it, you are not married to you. Yeah, I'm gonna say it one more time. You are not married to you, right? There are some expectations that we have a tendency to put on our spouse to handle situations the same way we would handle them, to do things the same way we would do them, right? My wife has, like, for real, from time to time, she'll say to me, listen, and she's a very detailed and structured person. And she'll say to me, I can't believe that you missed that. How would you miss that? And because of us taking the assessment now and knowing who we are and how we're wired, but prior to that, she would always say to me, I can't believe you would do that. And I'm like, babe, I'm not wired like you are. And her response would be, but it's common sense. It's common sense for you when you're wired a particular way and you do things a particular way according to how you're wired, right? And so what I've realized is that when we find out who we are and how we're wired, and that means that we're not necessarily always wired the same, what is common sense to you is not so common anymore. For some of us, you have a spouse that has a particular need. And because that need is not important to you, or you don't value that need because that's not necessarily your need, you downplay the need as if it's something that doesn't need to happen. And what you're doing in most cases is you're getting defensive. And while you're getting defensive, the message that you are non-verbally sending to your spouse is that their needs or their feelings don't matter. And that's so not true. Once again, you are not married to you. What you put value on, what is dear to you, may not necessarily be dear to your spouse. What's dear to your spouse, or what your spouse puts value on, you may not feel the same way about, right? But here's the funny thing, because the two of you have now become one flesh, because the two of you are now moving as one unit, what is important to your spouse needs to be important to you. Let me say that one more time. What's important to your spouse in terms of needs and feelings needs to be important to you. Why? Because you are not married to you. You are married to someone else who may have feelings and needs that are probably not the same as yours, but you need to value it nonetheless because it's your spouse. You know what the word says. For this reason, for the reason of marriage, shall a man leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. You are not married to you. Just this past week, we witnessed a couple of different situations. As a matter of fact, we talked about them a lot last night. How one spouse is very slow in thinking, moving at a steady pace, right? And needs time to process information. And the other spouse who is like, let's get results, let's move, let's quick. You know what I'm saying? When that spouse tells the other spouse that, yo, you need to move faster, that moving faster may throw that spouse off, right? So in other words, how do we work together? You've heard me say it before. You're not the problem. Your spouse is not the problem. The problem is the problem. How do we work together against the problem and not each other? So in cases where, like, for real, I may want results and I may want to pick up the pace. My wife may not move so quick. She may need time to process information. How do we work together so that we get the goal that we want and not work against each other? Because that will prolong the goal, right? At the end of the day, what does the situation call for? Because if it calls for detail and structure, then I'm leaning towards my wife and let her delegate to me what needs to be done. But if we're making decisions and working out problems and keeping people in mind, then my wife needs to lean towards me. Why? Because I'm the flamingo, right? And I delegate what needs to be done. What does the situation call for, and how are we going to work together to achieve the goal that we want and not against each other? Let me tell y'all something. Value the needs and feelings of your spouse, right? Work together together towards the goal. Why? Because you are not married to you. Y'all know how we do this thing, man. From shaky to good, from good to great. Ultimately, what we want is phenomenal marriages. But guess what? They're not handing it out. You got to work for it. Know who your spouse is. Know how they're wired. That's how you work on it. Know who you are. Know how you're wired. That's how you work on it, right? And you can get to phenomenal. Yeah, man. Y'all know. Let's make the rest of our marriage the best of our marriage. What up, y'all? It's your boy Quest, man. Listen, I am a firm believer in marriage is winning. That's right, including yours. So if you know somebody that might be able to use this information, or you might be able to use this information, subscribe, comment in the section below, like, and like I said, share with someone else. All right? If you want to reach me on social media, yeah, my Instagram link is over to the left. All right? Peace.